Hey guys, hope you're all well, hope you've all had a good weekend. Right, Monday afternoon and about to press on with the bike. So, I'm going to start, believe it or not, with a mind change. Don't act surprised. Anyway, I've been sat here for the last 10-15 minutes thinking about this tank, the fuel tank. As I explained before, I was going to try and mount it from the bottom. Now I've had the tank off, I've tried to come up with several ways, and there's nothing that's really going to work without major surgery to the tank. And I don't really want to go down that avenue, so yeah, I'm going to sort of resort back to where it was mounted. So underneath the tank, we'll get it off in a minute, so I'll show you. There's just nowhere to go. I know when I done Dan's tank, he had sort of the World War II era tank on, and it sits completely different on the bike. And that was easy to achieve, to mount it underneath, because basically the underneath of the tank is completely different. Although you see the tank hanging down here, the actual base of the tank on the inside's up here somewhere, which brings it up nearer the frame. This one is nothing like that at all. Yeah, to do it properly, I'd have to do a lot of chopping around underneath the tank, and like I say, I don't really want to go down that avenue. So I'm going to resort back to this, but we're going to try and make it better. Anybody who's had experience with these rubbers here will know they are an absolute pig to replace. Getting the old ones out, and the new ones never ever fit right. You have to shave them down, keep trying them, and so on. So I'm going to make some new spacers that drop into this hole out of alloy. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'm going to make some nice brackets off this, off the tank. But as with a few other Enfields I've done, we're going to make some alloy caps that also go over the bracket. So yeah, I think a slightly sort of triangular bracket, all in, and then we'll make the cap. So what I'll do, I'll cut the brackets out first, and then we'll actually use the brackets for the jig to make the aluminium caps. Let's get on with it. Okay, scooting forward a tiny bit, I have made these little inserts that will go into here. As you can see, through there I've got the other side in. They'll go into there. I've given them a bit of a, well, made them a bit smaller. Obviously we're allowing for powder coating, and we don't want to be struggling having to whack them into place when the powder coating's done. So we've got that. Now I'm sorting the brackets out. Spot my first mistake. I changed my mind on the length of it, so I needed to allow for a bit of a curve on the tank. So we'll weld that one up when I've actually drilled this one out to the correct size. So I've got to cut two of these out, and then we'll get the shape in for it to fit the tank nicely, and then we'll make a bit of a cover for them. We have a visitor. Hello, mate. Where are you going again? See you then. Short visit, but he's been in. Right, where was I? just get the radius on that, and then we'll draw around that for the other one. There we go. 2. Right, that's them drilled out to size. I've got to bolt through them because I want to bolt them together and trim them so they're both exactly the same. And then I will, that little mistake hole there, I will weld that up. First, get them bolted up and then we'll trim them up. Right, let's sort that out. Yeah, that's got them the same. Right, I'm going to try them on the bike and see what we've got to trim off that back part there. Right, I've just checked that against the tank. There's a fair bit got to be trimmed off. So what I'm going to do first is the little aluminium covers. So I've drilled a hole in this. I'm going to bolt these together and then trim it off. What we got to do is make sure they're both in line each side. We'll make sure of that in a minute. Let's put it in the vise a minute. Yeah, just make sure they're in line. I think that'll do it. Just nip them up again. That's tight. I think that'll do it. Right, I'm going to cut round that now, and then we'll bash it into shape. There we go. A bit of dressing up and that'll be fine. Just got to get that out. So when we've done the pair of them, obviously I've got to remember to try and do the other one sort of the opposite. I shall just skim a little bit off the steel so these fit comfortably, allowing for when it's all painted as well. Oh, just a bit of dressing up and it should be good. And we'll do the other one. So I'll get these polished as well, so it'll look nice against the burgundy tank. And probably what we'll do with these, there'll be obviously the bolts going through, we'll do stainless bolts, and I'll probably make a nice brass washer as well, which should stand out. It's hard to get hold of. There we go. We'll go on the Scotch-Brite. So when I dress these up to fit the back of the tank, so these are obviously sort of have a curve in them, following the shape of the tank, I'll be able to dress them up the same. Right, we now have two. I've left the scabby end on the back of that one because they've both got to be trimmed down at the back, like I say, to suit the shape of the tank. But we'll have to get these shaped up and fitted first. And then, like I say, I'm just going to trim a tiny bit all the way round so it comfortably drops into each cover. Yeah, I think that'll look all right when we've done. So next stage is get them to fit the tank. Right, moving on to the following day. So my mate came last night and gave me an hand. Got a few other jobs moving along, which is nice. So all looking good for my trip. Yeah, he came last night and started frames that I need to get done. So at last, any of you guys waiting for a frame, they're on the move. Anyway, back to the Enfield. So I've got everything ready. We just got to start welding and lining up and getting all the front of the tank mounted. So far we have these, the inserts. That one's got a thread in. That'll go through the frame and basically do up inside the frame. Yeah, you get what I mean. Trying to do it one-handed. And that'll automatically tighten up when we tighten the actual brackets up. Welded the hole up, the mistake hole. You'll see, well, I'll show you anyway. These are very slightly different, and that's to allow for the typical wonky Enfield tank. So that's all sorted. We got the covers sort of trimmed somewhere near where they've got to be. So we'll get these welded on and go from there. So yeah, we'll get these in first. So you can see, I'll show you properly now. One's threaded, so they screw together inside the frame. And then we'll get the brackets on. One in there and the other in there. There we go. Right, next bit. I'm just going to get these tacked on first, I think. Well, we'll get everything lined up first, as best as we can. We're an Enfield frame. That's the wrong bolt. These are just temporary bolts. One's a bit long. Let's try that one. There we go. sorted. Right, I shall get that lined up and welded on. Right, all sorted, all trimmed up and on. Obviously that's a temporary fixing. What I think I'm going to do is make some little brass sort of countersink cup washers on the lathe, and probably use like a slotted stainless screw in the fixing. I think that'll look a lot more in keeping with the brass sort of countersink cup washer. And obviously the alloy will be all polished, and then with the offset of the burgundy tank, I think that'll look all right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The only other thing I've got to do to the tank is weld these up, dress them up, then Wayne the painter will work his magic on that, and I'm pretty sure he'll make it look absolutely stunning. Yeah, that's that sorted. And obviously he'll dress the neck up. He'll probably just put a tiny bit of filler in there just to dress it in, because I can't grind that back anymore, because we'll end up breaking through the seal and it will start splitting open, and then I'll have to start chasing it all around with welds and everything. So that's as far as I want to grind it. There we go, sorted. Right, that'll do for this video. I'm still going to carry on through the day. I'm not sure what I'm going to tackle next. I'm still got to do that back mud guard, but I'm still thinking I just want it right, so I'm not rushing into it. It can be the very last job on the bike before it comes apart. It doesn't matter as long as it gets done. Obviously got the brake pedal to finish, and that's about it. The brake pedal with the brake switch, and then drill some holes in the frame where I run all the wires. We're ready to come to bits then, so it's definitely coming to bits this week, and everything going off to painters and powder coaters. So whatever I choose to do next will be the next video. Anyway, also before I go, I'd like to thank everybody again, because I'm so grateful of finding out how to work that thank you button. That surprised me. I weren't expecting so many of you guys to do that, and it is immensely appreciated, because that definitely also goes into the time that's spent on all the editing and everything to get the videos out to you guys. So really appreciate that, really do. Anyway, that'll do for this one. On with the next one. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.